Today is April 11th. Oh, now I'm screwing up my view here. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, so today is April 11th, and we're going to have an awesome chat with Megan, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her story. I asked Megan because I got to know Megan a lot over the last couple of years, and she's super positive and sweet and kind. That's what I think of when I think of Megan. I love hearing her story, but I don't know it really, really well. So I'm really excited to get to hear from her. And Megan, I wish I had a way to do a split screen, but I don't. So I'm just going to put it on you for now. How about that?
Okay.
Tell us about yourself, Megan.
Okay. So I started my journey like 2 years ago. And I was someone that I would go to the gym and then I would go for a few weeks and then I would stop, or it just wasn't like consistent. I wasn't seeing any results from it, and I wasn't hooked up with a personal trainer. So at the gym, I was doing like cardio and random arm exercises, and like it wasn't anything that was going to get me results. And my nutrition was nowhere like where it should be. I ate a salad and I thought that that was good. But I was on vacation and I was at my heaviest. And I remember before going on vacation, I was trying on bathing suits with my sister, and I was so like discouraged, and we were even trying on one pieces, and we hated every single part, like every part of the experience. So we decided to just keep the ones we had, and whatever, we didn't care. We didn't know these people at the beach. But I came home from that trip and I was like, I need a change. And I worked with Amy's husband, Mike, and he was telling me about Beachbody and what all of this is about. And I got connected with Amy, and my sister and I both signed up, like no questions asked. We were in. And my first program was 80-Day Obsession. My sister and I did it together, and we both each lost about 15 pounds. We got awesome results, and from then, like, we were just hooked. And shortly after I completed that program, I decided to become a coach and help other people on this journey. So yeah, that's like my beginning and how I got started.
Oh my gosh, I can't honestly believe that 80-Day Obsession was your first program. I did not know that. I think because I had just had a baby at that point, so I wasn't like 100% engaged, but that's a hard program to start with. I love that that was your first one, and I love the results you got with it. One of the reasons I think 80-Day Obsession works so well for people is because, and same with 21 Day Fix, it melds your nutrition with the plan, like with the workout. So like when someone says I did 80-Day Obsession, like they most likely also did Time Nutrition. Do you know what I mean? Same with 21 Day Fix. Or like, yes, I did the containers and the program, So I feel like one of the biggest reasons is because there's such an emphasis on making sure you're following the nutrition plan versus some of our programs don't like make a huge emphasis on following the nutrition plan, which is why coaches are so important, right? Because we're like, dude, no, you have to follow the nutrition plan as well. So I love that was your first program. I also can 100% relate to the whole swimsuit debacle. I have been there so many times, and you're right, it is incredibly discouraging. Not in like I don't know how to say it. It's not going to ruin your vacation, but it really does set yourself up for this awful feeling before vacation. You want to feel confident going into vacation. You want to And I think now April is the time to be doing that. Like, not
Mhm.
only are we all at home, which brings its own struggles. I'm not
Mhm.
downplaying the struggles. Trust me, I 100% get it. I always ate better when I was at work versus when I was at home.
Mhm.
But you have this controlled area, like this time in which you can really focus and hone in on it, which I want to talk to you about a little bit today also,
Mhm.
because you have your own, and maybe you can talk about this a little bit, but um you have been home, right?
Mhm.
And you have had to work through figuring out, like, you're not normally home. That's not a normal thing
No.
for you, right? Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So tell me what your life used to be like, and then tell me what it's like now. um when I'm talking about like being out for work and stuff, and now being home, how did you figure that out during your quarantine time frame? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, I work in healthcare, but I was recently laid off, so now I'm unemployed, and that's why I'm home. And um, so, kind of navigating through that in itself has been a challenge. But from before all of this till now, I've always followed the portion containers. But actually, when I did 80-day obsession, and just since then, I have never done the time nutrition because it didn't work with my work schedule. So I just follow the containers as the program goes. And
Hold on
um,
a second. If you didn't, I'm sorry, I'm going to totally cut you off. If you didn't follow time nutrition, um how did you know to follow the containers? Because the program talks a lot about time nutrition.
mhm.
So how did you know, oh, that's not going to work for me, I'm going to stick with just the flexible containers?
Well, my sister's a teacher also, and so we both our schedules like wouldn't have worked with that. So we just said like we'll just eat the container amount, like,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
just not follow like the strict time
So you
plan.
stuck with the portions of what, and the macro
Right.
breakdown. You
Yeah.
just didn't stick with how to eat it at the time frames throughout the day.
Right. Yeah, we didn't.
And did Amy help you out with that too? 'Cause you said
I
you were
don't know. Maybe.
You're like,
Maybe.
I love it. Did you also were you also drinking Shakeology or using any of the other supplements?
Yeah, I was drinking Shakeology, and I don't think I started using Energize and all of that until after. I'm not sure when I started using like the performance line, but
So I know I'm going down a rabbit hole here, but how did Shakeology help you during that time frame?
well, it definitely helped with like the cravings, and it was my breakfast. So it was so like simple and easy because for working in healthcare, I couldn't like make a breakfast or anything. Like I was on the go.
Yeah.
So that was nice. It was quick, easy, and like I was able to take it with me to work. But yeah, I often wonder like how much that versus nutrition versus working out like really impacted my results. Like I'd be curious just to drink Shakeology and like see like the effects of like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's a compound effect though
I was
of
gonna say, I
everything.
think it's a synergy. Like
Yeah.
the three of them working together is so big.
Mhm.
Because I have helped people who've done it without Shakeology. I've helped people who have done it without working out, and I just find that the results, and not just the results, but the commitment long term,
Mhm.
sticks around longer when people do all three. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it
Mhm.
becomes more of a lifestyle where they stay with it longer. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, you've been
Yeah.
doing this for 2 years now. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And like yeah, it's kind of like the complete package of everything. Like
Yeah.
and funny thing is when we saw the price of Shakeology, we were like, well, we're just going to do this free bag. And then that was it. But then we were like, well, we'll see. Like this is our first program. We'll keep drinking it throughout. And then we were like, hooked.
I love it. Yeah, for anybody who's listening, who might not know, when you get your challenge pack, Shakeology, Beachbody On Demand, and all of your other items are so discounted that it's like an obvious yes. Like, yeah, totally, I'm gonna do that, right? But then, yeah, you question, you're like, what am I gonna do after this first month? And Megan's here to tell you, just stick with it.
Yeah.
So how did your life change, or how did you kind of keep it together while at home with your nutrition? Or has it been like horrible, or you're kind of going through this change that takes people a long time to adjust to, so
Mhm.
how are you working your way through it?
So, it's been okay. I like definitely have found myself like snacking more, and my boyfriend and I, we just recently moved in with each other in December. So he doesn't eat like the healthiest and has all these snacks, and like that is hard. So that's an adjustment in itself. And then now like being home with all of that, I'm like, ugh, like it's there, so I want it. And so it's kind of like learning to navigate through all of that, also.
Yeah.
But I am like trying to like get myself back on track, and I know how to do it obviously because I've been through these programs, and I've gotten awesome results with it. Um, but I find like some of it is just like boredom eating or emotional eating or stress eating. And like if I'm struggling with it, like I can imagine who else is. But I'm like trying different ways. Like I don't know if I want to try to do time nutrition now that I can, but then I don't want to fall out of that habit once I do go back to work. Or just simply like tracking my like containers in the app, and then like posting it somewhere for accountability, like whether it's in my accountability group or with other like coaches and friends. I feel like I just need something that is going to make me show up and actually stick to it. So yeah, I'm going to
Well,
make that my mission kind of.
I love it. You know what I
Week.
love? I love that you're being super honest. That's really, really important. And I think what's really cool about this whole thing is that you have a community of people who can help you get back on track. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And we're all going through total weird changes, things
Yeah.
that aren't normal, and so I think one of the biggest things is just giving yourself grace. And I feel like having this community of people around you is helpful in that area,
Yeah.
especially,
Yeah.
because we're all going through it.
Mhm.
And we have some, each one of us has little things that can work for us, and by talking about it, I think people, to be honest with you, back in the day, I remember like I would want to talk to a friend about my like nutrition or diet or whatever. And I always felt weird talking to them about it because you don't know where the other person's at, and you don't
Mhm.
want to, and like I felt like I was being judged by talking about it. And even now, sometimes like because you have your diet culture, your anti-diet culture, and so like you're afraid to
Yeah.
even say something to someone because you're like gonna get
Mhm.
some weird kickback. At least we have this community where we can literally talk to each other about it, without being
Right.
like negative or oh, you can't do that. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
some things though that's working for me just in this time is having allotted times to eat. And I don't mean like time nutrition. I just mean like I'm making sure I'm eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack. So,
Mhm.
and not eating in between. So if I am
Yeah.
gonna have the chocolate, I'm gonna have it for dessert right after dinner and I'm done. Or if I am
Yeah.
gonna have, something off the wall, it's going to be in window. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the
Mhm.
kitchen's closed in the window. So in between though is to make sure my water is being drank. So 16 ounces of water an hour after I eat and an hour before I eat. That only gives me this small little like window of time to drink my water, and
Mhm.
knowing not to eat during that time frame. So if you are home, I find that like I remember going from working full time to coming home as like a stay-at-home mom, and I remember like my whole world changing, and I actually got a ton of anxiety during that time frame, and it was just really a huge challenge for me. But I remember finding out through these groups and through this that finding a routine is best. Like if
Yeah.
you, it takes time to create a routine, so definitely have to have grace. But creating that routine is really good, like a morning routine that takes you up to a certain time frame, and then a lunch routine. Like
Mm-hmm.
having that routine, it will save your sanity and your waistline throughout this whole thing, right? So giving yourself grace and finding your routines. I feel like those two things are so, so, so important. But
Yeah.
tell me more about, Megan, tell me more about how did you make this work long term? So you did a challenge group, you did 80-day obsession. You stuck with the nutrition, you worked with your sister, so you had like a built-in accountability partner.
Yeah.
Is your sister still doing this now?
Like here and there, she got a Peloton, so she's been doing that more so than the Beachbody workouts. But like when she's not doing a Peloton ride, she'll do one of our programs.
Awesome. Does she stick with the nutrition as well?
Probably not as strictly. Like I used to live with her prior to moving in with my boyfriend, so I don't think it's probably as like the same. But
Yeah. I only ask because I do find that if somebody is more engaged into the groups,
mhm.
engaged into the team, that they usually get better results. So I
Right.
was just wondering if like, is she sticking with it as much, not
Yeah,
being as
probably not. You're right.
yeah. It's a good like, test.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do find we were talking about the synergy of the things together. I think you have your products, your Shakeology, your workouts, your nutrition, but I think like all of that inside of the community, I think the community is the thing that pulls it all together,
Mhm.
keeps people with
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's really important. So, I mean, do you feel the same way?
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
kind of
And as
walking
far
you
as
into
like
that one, but I just wanted to know.
yeah, no, and like as far as like sticking with the containers and like not falling off after I finished 80-day obsession, like we said, like I made it a lifestyle and it wasn't like once I finished the program, okay, then I was done. Like I worked it into my lifestyle and um having the accountability and then becoming a coach, like having to have like take that ownership and be an example for others, like and showing them what you can do through this and that it's not just a once and done quick fix. That is kind of how I've gone through this whole journey. So
I can totally relate to that. I remember thinking back in the day, like, about trainers. Well, of course they're fit. They get paid to do that, right? But if you really think about it, like we get paid for keeping this lifestyle awesome. So I do think coaching is like one of the major reasons why I've been able to stick with a healthy routine throughout
yeah.
the years. And you're right, being an example, inviting other people to join you, like the accountability factor, the example kind of factor, the fact that you want to show other people how to be healthy is really, really key. I think it's a huge piece of that. So let's break it down really, really quick. If you had a normal work day, we're going to start there because that's what you're used to, and then maybe we can bring you back on after you hit your routines of being home.
Yeah.
But what was a normal work day? How was your food? How did you work your food around your work day?
So in the morning, when I would get to work, I always had my shake, but I didn't fully like drink it before I started my work day. Um, and then I would make like egg muffins, and I would always have a fruit. So I would get to work and maybe have like a granola bar or like a mini kind bar or something. And Then my first patient was 7 to 8, and 8 to 8:30 I had a break. So that is when I ate the egg bites and started to drink my shake and had the fruit that I brought. So that's when I ate during that time. Then throughout my morning while I was back in the therapy gym is when I would like here and there drink my shake. So it wasn't like drinking it all at one time. It was kind of like throughout my morning. And then I had my lunch break. And then at lunch, I always usually stick to the same lunch, whether it's like a salad, a fruit, and yogurt for the protein. Um, and if I wasn't having a salad, it'd be like spaghetti squash or something like that was counting as my green. And I always tried to have 2 greens at my lunch. And then my afternoon was I really didn't eat much during my afternoon until I was done. And then like when I was doing my documentation is when I'd maybe have like another snack, whether it was um, like a cheese stick or cucumbers, like whatever I brought for the day. And then I would go home. Sometimes I'd have like another snack depending how hungry I was. And then make dinner, which usually my dinners are a carb, a veggie, and a protein. So that was like my routine while I was working. Um, but now being home, it's kind of all over.
I have total faith in you. I know you're going to figure out your routine at home. And I know that like it's a struggle for a lot of people, right now. So giving ourselves grace is really important. Let me ask you a question about your day here. What plan were you following? Like plan A, B,
B.
B?
Yeah. Mhm.
The other question I asked that because a lot
Or
of
A. When
A.
I first started, I think it was I don't know. I don't know the time the weight different like
Yeah.
it was A or B. Yeah.
Okay. I ask because a lot of people, if they feel like they hit a plateau, they tend to go down when
Mhm.
sometimes they actually need to go up, depending on what's going on with you. Like if you're at a weight level that's like a normal weight level for you, you might actually need to go up to go past a plateau. And
Uh,
so, but a lot of people don't they're like too nervous to try it. I know that, like Amanda doesn't eat at plan A. She shouldn't be eating at plan A, right?
right.
She should be eating at a maintenance type plan,
Yeah.
which will still help you cut body fat. It just
Mhm.
isn't going, so anyway, I think it's really important for people to know that, like, that people aren't always eating in plan A,
Right.
to lose weight. So I think that's really important. So I really love your whole way of putting it together. I had a question. You said you had a Kind bar. Was that in the morning, like before you left, or on your way to work? Because you said you had your
Usually
shake,
like
coffee, and fruit later in the morning,
yeah, so usually I would eat it like right when I got to work.
just to hold
So
you over to that like full
right.
meal. Okay, I got
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that makes sense. Awesome.
Mhm.
So let me ask you the big question before we go. How has your life changed after, like, how has this really affected your life by focusing on your nutrition, focusing on your health, focusing on your fitness, being surrounded by positive people? I know Amy has helped you a lot and she's super positive, and the whole community of your fitness group and the coach group. How has it changed your life over the last 2 years?
Um, like in every way possible. It's changed it incredibly, like for the better. I truly like I couldn't imagine what it would be like without this opportunity, especially now during this crazy time. And like I have personally gone through like mental health and dealing with some anxiety and depression and being diagnosed and dealing with all of that and having these workouts and this community and like all of the accountability and support like has helped me so much, because going through something like that was, you need people there for you, and you need to have a healthy and, sustainable routine. And like even just doing 10 rounds and like punching and, like that is like my stress relief. Like it is the best way to start my morning. And yeah, I couldn't imagine without it. And like just being able to help other people, and like I know I've inspired other people in my family, and it's a cool feeling to know that I'm helping other people, even if they're not directly like joining me, but they're watching me and they get some sort of help or inspiration from it. Like that is awesome. So
That is
yeah, it's changed my weight a lot.
Oh, I've seen such a growth in you over the last 2 years, and so I was really, really excited to talk to you on here. I know this is more, but should be more about nutrition and everything, but I know that you're also a coach and you earn an income doing this by helping others. And I remember myself years ago, Jesse and I built basically our dream home. And I was already a coach at that time. And literally within months after building it and having the biggest mortgage we ever had, his paycheck got cut like big. His commission structure in the company just changed, and it cut his commission a lot right after we got into, like the biggest payments we've ever had. And at that moment, we were freaked out, but it was really awesome to know that I had an extra income coming in that I could boost up at any point. And it really kind of relieved a lot of stress, knowing that we had kind of this plan B that I was already working on. And that helped us tremendously. How do you feel right now with coaching, and how has it helped you financially over the last 2 years?
It's helped with, like monthly payments for my car, for groceries, like paying for my supplements, because now I use not just Shakeology, but I use like pretty much the entire performance line, and it's helped pay for that. And it's especially helpful now because I'm unemployed, so I'm only getting a portion of what I was making. And now I have this income that's still coming in, and it's weekly. Like that is huge. So
Yeah.
it's helped a lot, especially recently.
That's awesome. And I know, like, for myself, I felt also like, well, even if I wasn't making as much as him, I have this opportunity to just turn it on at any moment. And for you, you're home. So now you're like, well, you know what? I might not be working, but I can collect that unemployment and I can use this time to build something bigger and be
Right.
able to bring that in. And who knows, maybe by the time you go back to work, you might have the option to not, if you don't
Yeah.
want to. You're like, I'm going back per diem. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Megan, for sharing everything. And if you haven't seen her before or after pictures, I love them. I can't pull it up right now, but I'll put it in the front of this video when I put it on YouTube. I love the outfit that you're wearing. I think it is the cutest outfit ever. And so it makes the picture even prettier.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Megan, for talking with us. And if anybody has, let me pull this up. If anybody has a story that they want to share, or some tips, or even know somebody else's story that you would love to hear, let me know. Also, if you're not on the email list for the reminders to get on here every Saturday morning, please let me know and I'll send you the link to that as well. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.